So in just 3 days, how did my game go from looking like this to this? Well, in today's devlog, I'll be showing you guys the process that I took for developing my first game submission for my first game jam summer 2021. So let's get started. Alright, well, good morning everyone. It is currently 10:45 July 9th, so I have 1 day left in the jam. Has to be submitted by 11:59 tomorrow, right before it strikes midnight to Sunday. And on screen, I'll throw up some of my progress since the last devlog. Now, the current state of my game is pretty rough. I'm in 2 summer school classes. I also kind of work part-time, trying to start a YouTube channel, you know, along with getting into game dev has been taking quite a toll on me, so I've been kind of staying up pretty late. But no excuses here. I will publish the game by tomorrow. I swear by it. But yeah, the first couple of days after that last devlog was spent learning player movement. So that was really satisfying, just seeing the player move around on screen. That was a huge deal for me as a new developer who's getting into game development. And then from there, I hooked up like the player animations, which I finished up at the end of last video. I got the run, the jump animations down, and just running around the scene. And then a couple days later, I learned the Unity tile mapping system, which I didn't even know about. So I was pretty intimidated by that, but I managed to create something I was pretty proud of, these grass tiles, which I will have to import today. So that's where my project stands. Currently, I just have the player movement down, and I have almost the tiles done. So really bare bones and not a game at all right now. Today, I want to hopefully add a timer system along with maybe a burger counter, as I discussed my game design in the last video. Check that out if you guys haven't watched it and you don't really know the premise of my game. But yeah, so I have the whole day off. I was actually supposed to work today from 1:30 to 8:30, but I got that all situated, so I don't work today. I also have to take a final today, so like I said, kind of like all the stresses of life just came piling down on me. But let's go ahead and just get the day started. Alright, so 2 hours later, I know it took me quite a long time, but I have my Unity tiles imported. I'm gonna hit the play button here. But I'm pretty happy of how this first level looks. You can see I'm running around here, so it feels, you know, like a big accomplishment for me. But as a new developer, you know, this just means a lot to me here. So I have to fix a couple things. As you can see, the collider, you can kind of get stuck here. Something going on with that, and I have to fix or add a restriction on the jumping, because currently you can kind of infinite jump, so I can fly around the level here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fix a couple of those issues I addressed. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll catch up with you then. So luckily, the issue where the player would get stuck on the ledge was a relatively easy fix. All I had to do is make sure that the player's collider was touching the ground layer. But where I ran into a lot of trouble was with tuning the double jump. So what I wanted to do originally was the first jump would give a player more height than its second. But what I had to end up doing at the end of the day was just making both of the jumps be the same height, since I just couldn't figure out how to get different height adjustments for each double jump. So that's definitely something I could learn from, is to not get so caught up and be a perfectionist on a single aspect of your game. So at this point in the night, I was pretty tired, and I just used some inspiration, or you could say ripped it off basically from one of my past projects here. But I ran into many issues with the AI, as you can see here. I just wanted her to patrol back and forth on a platform, but this is what I got instead. With the midnight deadline looming over my head and me scheduled to work from 1 to 8:30, I had to use my time very wisely, so my first priority of the day was to successfully make the human patrol back and forth, and after several attempts, I did just that. So from there, I moved on to creating a burger idle animation, so it wasn't just a boring, burger just standing still, to make it more interactive. So once I added that in the game, I had to find a way to actually, erase the object once the player touches it. So that was a really simple line of code. I just had to destroy a game object on a collision. So at this point, I was kind of freaking out. I had limited time and I had to go to work soon. I just spent an hour working on the portal design, creating some UI art, but upon getting home from work at 8:52, I have solved a major issue I was running into. It took me an hour, but I finally got the portal to open once all the burgers were collected in a level. Now, this is probably my most proud accomplishment because no tutorials were involved for this. This just required me reading online from forums and other things in the Unity documents to figure out how to get the portal to open when all the objects were collected in a level. So the last hour of the game jam was met with a ton of stress. My UI wasn't really working correctly, and basically it led me to kind of ship the game kind of in a broken state. So what you see here, the UI looks fine, the burger counter seems to work, the timer seems to be going down. There's only 2 levels in the game since I didn't have enough time, but the scene wasn't loading, as you can see here, and there'd be like a negative timer once the time was up. So this footage you're watching right now is basically how the game shipped. You can see the timer is kind of in a wonky place. The timer was even going down before you even hit start game. So that was pretty, unfair, I guess you could say. And basically, when you're done playing the game, there's no negative timer issue, so I fixed that. But when you try to start playing the game again, there's no timer at all. So you can really just take your time and play the 2 levels and basically click off your browser. And also, the burger counter wasn't getting reset from the last play session. So I just decided, you know what? It's probably just better to ship the game as is and to submit it to the game jam than to not submit it at all on time. And if all that wasn't enough, just 6 minutes before my game jam submission, I was met with so many errors about my submission and how I didn't successfully, submit it in a good zip file with all the WebGL type stuff. So after learning how to do that, luckily it still allowed me past midnight to edit my submission. So it says with 6 minutes and 1 second to spare, I submitted this game you see right here to the game jam. And I couldn't be more proud of my work. I know it's not perfect, and in fact, it's definitely a broken game, but I'm happy that I actually participated in a game jam for once, and it is a huge stepping stone, as an indie game developer, just to have submitted something. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and polish this game up, and that'll probably be what my next video is, but it was definitely worth my eyes burning at work. My eyes were literally tearing up from the lack of sleep on the last day of submission. But thank you guys so much for joining me on this video, and if you want to check out the game, feel free to. It is broken and I will update it soon, but thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.